Hi, my name is Priscilla Dweh, and this is my portfolio project. So, as I stated earlier, I am Priscilla Dweh, and I'm a graduating senior from North Carolina Central University. My interest in psychology stems from my fascination with the mind and figuring out what drives people to make the decisions they do. I also want to educate my community on mental health and know what mental illness looks like. Oftentimes, I find that communities of color sweep mental illness under the rug instead of addressing it like it needs to be, and this leads to more hurt than help. My psychology career goals are obtaining my master's in counseling, getting my license to be a clinical mental health counselor, and educating my community on mental illness. So, to give a brief overview of my strengths and areas of development, on the time management self assessment, one item I relate to is I rarely hand in work late. I feel like this speaks to my focus and drive, which I believe are some of my best qualities. My scores on the test anxiety scale and the stress coping inventory also speak to my level headedness. It's good to be level headed because you won't overreact to a situation. It's best to stay calm and survey your options. My areas of development include organization, procrastination, and time management. For organization, I feel like I am organized, but I forget to write down dates, and this causes my brain to be jumbled and lead me to forget my due dates and commitment dates. In terms of procrastination, I oftentimes am too tired to physically or mentally do an assignment, and this can affect my concentration. Because of that fatigue, I tend to avoid my assignments. Lastly, an area I would like to improve upon is time management. I sometimes struggle with filtering out distractions, and this could lead me to fall behind on my tasks. So, for academic experience, as I stated earlier, I'm an NCCU student. I'm also a student in the University Honors Program, and I'm also a scholar in the Scholars on Campus program through the Emily Krzyzewski Center. In terms of work experience, I'm a dietary aide at the Cedars of Chapel Hill, and I've also gained internship experience through NCCU's psychology department as a peer advisor. I also had volunteer experience at the 26th annual First Ladies Walk. In terms of career goals, my first goal is to get my master's in counseling. This will hopefully bring me one step closer to obtaining my license and will make me stand out from applicants who might just have a bachelor's in psychology or counseling. Second, I'd like to obtain my associate clinical mental health counselor's license, which will allow me to counsel people with the supervisor present. Lastly, I'd like to educate my community on mental illness and what mental illness looks like. By doing this, I hope to erase the negative connotation that surrounds mental illness. This could possibly push people to acknowledge that they have mental illness and maybe even receive help for it. And hopefully, others will become inspired to become counselors and spread this information with other people in their community, kind of like a ripple effect. So, for my development plan, I first want to start off talking about my areas of improvement. To improve my organization skills, I like to use my calendar app on my phone. This makes sure I don't have to keep all my due dates in my head, which makes me feel less overwhelmed. And because I'm on my phone all the time, I'm more likely to see the notifications from my calendar app. To combat my procrastination, I first give myself rest and I take my vitamins so I can be alert for assignments. And I try to start assignments early so I can take breaks and have shorter times where I'm working instead of larger chunks of time, which makes sure I don't get tired easily and that I give myself enough time to complete my work. For time management, I like to keep my phone on Do Not Disturb so I can limit any distractions. This makes sure that I concentrate, and I also like to use my calendar because I can track what I have to do for the day and how much time I can delegate to each task. In terms of my career goals for a master's degree, I will be researching graduate programs that are in my area that surround mental health counseling and find the program that's the right fit for me. I would also like to seek a mentor whose interests mirror mine so they can help me in the best way that they can. I'd also like to study for the GRE through practice tests because this will familiarize me with the content while also familiarizing me with the time limits they put on each test. I would also like to gain field experience so I can stand apart from applicants and so I can have an idea of what professionals do in their daily lives. The next thing I would like to do is get my license. First, I will need to study for my licensing exam, and I'll do this by looking up practice tests similar to the GRE. And I will also need to gain field experience, and I would also like to survey my options in terms of what places would like to hire someone with an associate level license. Lastly, I'd like to educate my community on mental illness. I feel like communities of color in particular sweep mental illness under the rug, and this causes mental illness to be ignored and people suffer as a result. I would like to collaborate with people in my community and educate people on what mental illness looks like. These are my references, and I would like to thank you all for watching my presentation.